Lynn provided me with really good notes, as she always does.
Okay.
But kind of give me a background of orchards and what you guys are looking for and what you currently utilize, if anything.
You say which currently what?
What you currently utilize as far as,
Okay.
keeping track of time, employee
Yes.
information. Yeah.
So currently we use green shades. That's our timekeeping tool right now. I don't know. I think it's user friendly, but I want to say this past year we've had a lot of issues. I don't think they're anything major. I just think it has to do with the company making some upgrades, and they're still kind of trying to work out the kinks. But right now, because payroll is in-house and there's only a department of 6 of us, it's becoming to be a little bit much, I think, because I'm the one that does the payroll. And so under the new leadership of, I don't know if you met Elizabeth Davis, that's our new CFO. She thought it would be a good idea for us to bring you guys on board so you can take care of payroll now, which I think is really, really nice. I just think we just need something that's user friendly. And I think that if we give the employees a little bit more ability where they can handle things, do things that are their own, as far as like changing their addresses and changing their direct deposit, I think that would be helpful also, because right now, all of that is done by myself or the HR department. And we have the ability to turn those features on, but for whatever reason, they had not been utilized. And that was something that we were planning on rolling out. And now we don't have to roll it out because you all are going to take care of it for us.
Well, for those particular issues, for address changes, direct deposit changes, those would be done on Darwinet, which is our, not in the timekeeping system.
Okay. I did see in the master file that I received, I did see that there's information for Darwin that you all would, so is that the DNet? Yeah. Is that what you call the DNet? Okay. So I'll play around with that today because I did receive the login information. And this is LaShawn. She's my manager.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning.
We were just talking a little bit, LaShawn. I was giving a little background information about green shades.
Okay.
So we'll get started since you're here now.
Okay.
Maybe you want to take the lead, or Lynn?
Yeah. So in terms of the timekeeping aspect, you mentioned that you think that it's user friendly, but it may not be. So how are employees?
No, I think it's user friendly, but I don't understand. There'll be an error on their timesheet, and it tells you that there's an error, but they'll still submit a timesheet with errors, just like that. I don't, yeah. Okay. Or they'll notice that their department is not, the department information has changed, and all you have to do is change it. But again, they made changes to the look of the look, and even like some of the features and how you use it. And so they were used to one thing, and when they made changes, I'm getting flooded with emails like, "Oh, this isn't working." And now and like I said, they just changed how you use the feature. So instead of it being a drop down, now you actually have to type the information in the field or something like that. Like I said, I do think it's user friendly, but I mean, people email me and the issues that they're having, I don't think they're really issues.
Okay. So walk me through just a typical day of an employee. They arrive, they sit at a computer, maybe pull out a mobile phone. Do they clock
Mhm.
in, or are they manually entering in their hours and then telling you which department they're working in for the day?
You have the ability to do both. You have the ability to clock in, or you can fill out the timesheet at a later date.
Okay.
Because most people don't, log their time daily. Green Shades does have a feature in there where they can copy a previous timesheet, so you don't have to enter in individual hours. You can just copy a previous timesheet, and your time is in. So, like I said, I think it's just more so of people getting into best practices,
Yeah.
like, clocking in every day, or like I said, at the new beginning of the new pay period, maybe copying the timesheet for the next 2 weeks, and, just having the information already entered. So then that way, when the pay period ends, if you have any adjustments to make, all you're making are those adjustments. And if not, then you just submit the timesheet. So like
And
I said, I think it's just really just straightforward. I think it's straightforward. I just
yeah.
think it's just a matter of people, when do they, like, I don't know how they organize their day, like, but is that the first thing you do when you come in, or is that the last thing you do at the end of the day? But like having a routine would probably help alleviate some of the issues.
Okay. Now, do you like that copy feature? I've never heard of that before. Being able to copy an entire schedule from the employee side.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, like so there's a tab. If you hit on copy, it'll allow you to pick a previous payroll and just copy that timesheet. So you can copy one that doesn't, have a holiday included or something like that. But then you don't have to log the time in for each day, So like I said, I think it's a nice little shortcut.
Yeah. So does that concern you about hours worked, accuracy? Are you trying to get more accurate hours of what the employees are working, or is that not a big concern?
Yeah, that's not a big concern, because for the most part, well, I'll say half of the employees are salaried. So, that the hourly thing is not an issue, but because of the new, some of the new laws with overtime, so they have, the department's managers have things in place to kind of monitor if an employee is going to go over into overtime.
Okay.
So like I said, it's not a really, like I said, I don't know what the shortcomings is and why some individuals, don't have a hard time of getting their information in a timely manner. I just think it's more of a, just making sure that it's included in your daily or weekly task, and it wouldn't be an issue.
So does management have any visibility, or is it not until the employees submit the hours? Does
It's
everybody?
when the employee submits the time to the manager, and then the manager, they in turn approve it, and it comes to me. And
Okay.
then I go through the supporting documentation, the payroll sheets that are submitted to me by the managers. I just kind of go in and verify that the information that was approved by the manager matches the information that was submitted to me. And then I am the one that does the final approval, and the information is finalized that way. And I begin processing payroll after that.
Okay. So we can streamline your process. The nice thing with our system is it's very customizable, and everything happens in real time. So there's no waiting for the employees to submit anything unless we're waiting for them to manually log their hours. With
Gotcha.
salaried employees, we can go in there and just pre-fill their hours from now until the end of time, right? You work 8 hours a day, we could populate 8 hours, or we could say, your shift is 8 to 4. So we're just going to populate 8 to 4 on their time card. If they ever needed to go in there and change that, they would have the ability to do that. So there's a few different ways that this system can be used, and it's not off the shelf by any means. And so that's what makes Swipeclock very unique is out of, the 50,000 plus clients that use this system, no two accounts are the same.
Okay.
So we want to be able to build it so that it works best for you and for your staff members. But it's forever changing, right? So 6 months go by, you have different needs. We need to track something else. We need to shift something. We have complete ability to do that, right?
Okay.
So go ahead.
So when I mentioned the hourly staff that sometimes goes into overtime.
Okay.
So because our pay period is from a Sunday to Saturday, so that last so if anyone would happen to go into overtime that weekend, meaning that Saturday, so typically that Monday, if someone time needs to be changed, I will receive an email, from the manager or the supervisor stating that there was an employee that went over into overtime, and I would send back the timesheet for the hours to be adjusted, and then they'd resubmit it, and then we'd move forward that way. So how would that work if, you get someone who, I over the weekend I had to work these additional hours and I need to include it. Will that be a problem?
Not at all. And it would actually be a little easier through our system. Let me ask you, if that individual does work overtime, are they going to be punching a clock, or are they going to be manually entering in the hours that they worked?
For the most part, I think everybody does the manual entry and not the time clock, even though, like I say, you have the ability to do both right now.
Okay. So if they just manually enter their time, as soon as they log that into the system, we are going to tell the system what your weekly overtime rules are, right? If it's 8 hours in a day, anything over that is going to be considered overtime, and we're just going to keep a running total of that. Same for the week. So if they hit 40 hours on Friday, but then on Saturday, at the end of the day, they go in and log their hours, and they've hit overtime, a couple of things can happen. One, the moment that they enter in that information, you have a manager's portal, and you can access that portal from anywhere. It's just a internet site, right? So our system is entirely cloud-based.
Cloud-based.
So you can log into your portal Saturday, Sunday. Heaven forbid, I hope you don't do that. But if you do, you will see that information. Okay? So it'll be right there for you. So you don't need to wait for an email. You'll be able to see those hours logged and that they've hit overtime. There's also a report that we can send out automatically each day, so which means on Saturday, they're going to work that time. On Sunday, you'll receive an email, and it will show you what happened on Saturday. And it'll show you all the employees and if they worked any hours, and it keeps a running tally of the overtime for the day, for the week, and for the pay period.
Okay.
So you're going to be in the know, right? You're going to have that insight. So that way you can be a little bit more proactive rather than reactive, waiting for an email to come back to you.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
Now, when you say you receive that email and then you need to tell the manager to adjust that time, what do you mean by that exactly?
No, I would send the timesheet back to allow the employee to adjust the time, because no managers or supervisors can adjust employees' time.
Okay.
I am the only one that can adjust the employees' time.
Okay.
So, and just for the sake of keeping good records and, not going into people's file if I don't have to. Like I said, I just typically send it back and allow the employee to make the adjustments and then resubmit it for the supervisor to approve. Okay,
so I'm trying to connect the dots here. So they work a 40-hour work week. Saturday comes along, they work another 8 hours. So are they making their supervisor aware, or you aware that they work that time, but they didn't enter it on their own time card yet? Is that
Right.
what's happening?
So yes, because like with I think like the caseworkers that work with families, say if an emergency happened over the weekend and then they have to, work. So they would let their manager know.
Okay.
And then, like I said, if they've already, which typically they would have already turned in their timesheet. So that's why they would contact me for me to send the timesheet back to the employee to make the correction. But it has to go back to the employee, to the supervisor, then to me.
Okay, I see. So they've submitted the timesheet on Friday, and then they work Saturday. Okay, I understand.
Yes.
Yeah, we can streamline that process simply because our system is all connected, whether it's on the employee side or the manager side. So in the instance that they submit their time card, but really they don't need to submit anything because it's already in the system. I just go in there, log my time, hit save, you can now see it.
Right.
Right. So can managers if you give them access. So you have different access layers into the manager's portal, and you can say, okay, Mr. Supervisor, you're in charge of this department. I'm going to give you visibility over the employees that work in this department. So you can help me review their time cards. And if you want, give them the ability to prepare those time cards for you, fix mistakes, address issues, prepare them so that by the time they hit your desk, you don't need to do anything. You're just doing a quick glance saying, okay, this looks great. I'm going to submit it for payroll.
Okay.
Right? So then on Saturday, if they were to work, they would just go into their portal, go to their time card, log their time, and then in there they can send a note. They can send a note to you. They can send a note to the manager. And it's going to say right on their time card, hey, I had to work an additional 8 hours today, and here's the reason why.
Got it.
Right? So there's really nothing to resubmit or submit back. There's no waiting. It's just, hey, you need to enter in the time, go in and enter it, and I'm going to see it as soon as you do it. Just tell me why.
Gotcha.
Right? So a big component of our platform is engagement with your staff. Right? Remove the guesswork. We want to make sure that everyone has the tools, the visibility to streamline this process, right? Because we don't want to hold up payroll because we haven't heard back from, one employee that hasn't submitted their timesheet, right? And I'm sure that happens, and it's frustrating.
Yes.
Right? So that's one big thing about our system is everything is connected, and employees have multiple tools in their tool belt to make it very easy for them. So I would be very surprised if they ever came back to you and said, hey, this isn't working, right? Or I'm not able to do this, because really it's so user-friendly. Everyone has a mobile phone. Everyone knows how to use a mobile app. So that's one method, right? They just pull out their phone, go to the app, go to the day, and log their time and leave a message. As soon as I hit save, you've got the information.
Good,
right?
good.
The other option is, oops, I forgot to do that. I'm sitting at home on the couch and it's 10 o'clock and ding, a light bulb goes off. I need to enter in this time so I can get paid. I can pull out my tablet, I can pull out my computer, go to the website and do the exact same thing. Right? So it's literally taking minutes. So what we need to decide, let me share my screen with you guys, is how we want employees to interact with the system. And if it's small on your side, in the meeting controls, there's a couple of arrows that should expand the box if it's too small. Okay, so our system, like I mentioned, it's all cloud-based. So as long as you've got access to the internet or you've got a cell phone and you've got service, the employees will have access and multiple means to either punch a clock or manually log their time through their own personal time card. Okay, so this is just a website, and we've got the employee portal down here. So this is all timekeeping related. So when they first open their portal, their home screen is, of course, do you want to clock in or out? Now, if they wanted to clock in or out, we can set up questions so they can tell you what department I'm in, what job I'm doing, right? What location I'm at. And they can be drop-down menus to make it easier for them to make the selection, or we can leave it open similar to what you have now where they can type in information.
Okay.
Now, do they have a default department that they work in, or does it change daily?
Most do have, well, everybody has a main department, but there's a cluster of employees that are spread out in multiple departments.
Okay. And are they changing departments multiple times throughout the day, or is it today I work in this department, tomorrow I'm going to work in that department? How does that work?
No, so it's pretty much the 80 hours during a pay period. So much of the time is allocated to this. So it's just spread over the departments, and that's
Okay.
where our FTEs come in.
Okay. So what's that? Explain that to me.
So we count the number of employees and how their time is allocated over the departments pretty much. So right now, I know yesterday when I talked to Tiffany, she was saying that for the individuals that are in multiple departments, when I submit payroll, I'm just adding those lines of the additional departments that that person should be spread over.
Okay. Now, would you prefer the employee do that, or do you like to do that yourself?
Well, yeah, I would probably continue to do it because I mean this isn't something that they've done in the past, and I just think probably adding it to them now would probably cause some confusion.
Okay.
So yeah, I would continue to do that part.
Okay.
It's just a matter. So after speaking with her yesterday, so just trying to figure out what information I would need from you all so I can still process the journal entry for the FTEs each month.
Okay.
So that's something that I gotta think about.
Okay.
So we'll collaborate together to figure that part out.
Yeah, and we can definitely help. Like I mentioned, there is multiple ways to use this system, and so the way that you use it today may definitely change tomorrow. And I see it every day with the hundreds of clients that that use our system. This system is so broad, it's so big that they just grow into it over time, right?
Gotcha.
Our system can future-proof your timekeeping needs because there's so much that it can do.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
one question. If they make a mistake on the clock in and the clock out, is that something that they can fix themselves, or do they need to call and say, hey, I forgot to clock in? Or if they don't use the clock in, it's just the manual entry?
They can do both, and that's up to you, right?
Okay.
So
it's
a lot of it's a personal preference, right? So a lot of our clients, they have hourly employees that say, hey, when you arrive, clock in. When you take a lunch, clock in and out. And then when you go home, clock out, right? We don't want you to do anything other than just tell us when you're working. If you make a mistake, you'll be able to see it because you have a time card that keeps track of all your entries for the pay period, right? And if you make a mistake, you're going to see it.
Got it.
But I don't want Mr. Regular Employee to go in there and fix it because he could say, oh, you know what, I left at 5 when really he left at 4:30. It's human nature to lean in your favor because everyone thinks that the company has unlimited funds. They can afford it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you figure if each employee, took 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day, you times that by 10, 20, 100 employees, that's thousands of dollars every payroll. Right?
Yes.
So that's what our system is designed to do is, let's get precise on when everyone is working. And we know that employees don't like that because it raises accountability because they can't come in here and change their own time to make it look like they've worked 40 hours when they maybe only worked 32.
Got it.
Right? So on this time card, if they're punching a clock, it will record that entry. And that entry we can record down to the minute, or we can round it, right? Like a 7 or 8 rule. So those are really common. But if we give them the ability to edit their time cards, I've already locked this time card down, they'll have this edit button. And they can go in there, and if they've punched a clock, they can edit that initial clock in, right, that punch entry. But what will happen is it will still record the original punch. It'll just strike it out.
Got it.
So we still have visibility, and when employees come in here and log their time from scratch or change an entry, management can see that, right? So everything is transparent. You can't come in here and do anything funny, and if you do, I'm going to be able to see that you changed a 7:10 punch down to 7. Why did you do that?
Gotcha.
So everything is transparent.
Okay.
So adding information is extremely simple. They just have this add button, right? So if I'm working a brand new day or it's the end of the week and I need to log my hours, I can just add my time. And there's two ways that we can do it. We can add a start and a stop, or we can just have them tell us, how many hours did you work in the day? Just give me a bulk sum hours. I don't care what time you started, what time you stopped, just how many hours did you work? Right? And then we can have the same options to record different departments, right? Departments, jobs. So these are all custom headers, and you can label those headers whatever you would like, and then you're in control of the selections here. So you'll be able to add different departments to them to make a selection, or remove departments as you need to.
Okay.
Okay, and again, a drop-down menu is available, or you can do it so they can type in information.
Okay.
Okay, so
And that
go ahead.
What's the mileage column? What does that do?
It's just an example. So these are all examples. I've got a lot of clients that have drivers.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
they pay them mileage. So they'll say, hey, go in there, and at the end of the day, when you're clocking out or when you're logging your hours, tell me how many miles you drove for the day, so I can record it and pay you, right? Or maybe you've got a reimbursement or bonuses, commissions, you name it, right? This is all custom, and it's just additional information that we're paying our employees on that we need to track through the pay period and then get over into payroll.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
And we do mileage reimbursement, and that's done once a month at the end of every month.
Yeah. So we can easily do that.
Okay.
So we just build in a mileage column here, and we just tell the employees to log in the miles. The system will keep track of it for each pay period, and then at the end of the month, when you're ready to run that, you just go run a report, and it will show you all the miles and add everything up for you.
Okay. So, but it's just not mileage. They also get reimbursements for meals and stuff like that, and any out-of-pocket expenses that they may have incurred if they did something for a family or anything like that.
So like a charge account.
Yeah. And then, like I say, so at the end of the month, they submit all of this information to be reimbursed. The bulk of it is mileage reimbursement, but like I said, we reimburse for cell phones and meals. And like I said, if the employee did anything for a family that was in need, we'll reimburse them their money back. Okay. But we would use this to assist in that part, or is that something that's another? Okay.
You could, yes, but it's not it's not like an expense report.
Right.
So for this reimbursement, are they scanning receipts and submitting those over to you to verify that information?
Yes.
So we could track the totals, but there's no way for them to upload like the expense report to actually show everything. So it could help, but it wouldn't be like the final expense report system that they probably use now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's something we gotta figure out, man.
Yeah. And if this system can help, then we can definitely build it in, right?
Gotcha.
So they could log, like, are they breaking it down, or are they just saying, hey, for the month of October, I need to be reimbursed for $300, and here's my receipt? Or are they breaking it down?
It's broken down. It's broken down based off of, because like I said, they have to go to families. So throughout the whole week, they might have visited 10 families, and then they track and log all of that information.
Sure.
And then, like I say, at the end of the month, all that information is sent over to me, and I just pretty much make sure what was entered in there matches the supporting documentation.
Sure.
And I process it that way.
Yep, I've had to do that before. So this system, I say, could handle half, right? It could handle all of the numbers, but as far as being able to upload the documentation, the receipts, yeah, that part could not be done.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So this system is mainly designed just to track their time so that we can effectively communicate that between staff and management. And then at the end of each week or each pay period, very quickly retrieve all the data so that you can easily upload it into the DNET program.
Okay.
Right? And during the week, we want to have visibility, right? We want to make sure that it's easy for the employees and that management can see what's going on in real time so they can address any issues or just stay on top of their workforce, right? But it sounds like you guys are really flexible in how you deal with hours calculation, hours accumulation. So ultimately, it's just a matter of we need the employees to do their due diligence, right? We need them to log in their time in a timely manner so that management can view it and address anything that needs to be addressed before it's submitted to payroll.
Right.
Right?
So and also, we get paid lunches. So I know with a few individuals that went into overtime, when they looked at their pay, there was an issue of how the overtime was paid. And because we get paid lunches, when the overtime is calculated, it's taking that into consideration. So if a person really did, if they worked 11 hours over, it wasn't giving them the 11 hours overtime. So we were making the adjustment and paying them for the 11 hours. That's something that to where it doesn't. I don't know.
Getting a lot of feedback. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
I'm sorry, can you?
Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, the best thing
My
to be on
is on the other side of the house, and you can still hear him. He is nuts. Okay, I apologize. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Yeah, the best thing is to go on mute, and then if you've got a question, just interrupt, because that happens to me all the time.
I'm putting it on mute because he just burst out. I don't know what's going on.
So with lunches, absolutely. But again, it comes to making sure that we find out how those lunches are being monitored, right? So most of the time, employees are clocking in and out for lunch. So we can say, okay, here's what time they started, here's what time they stopped. Now, do we want to pay them for lunches or do we want to have those lunches unpaid? But we know that they actually took a lunch. In your case, they're not really entering in that they took a lunch, but for a 9-hour shift, you're not being paid for 9 hours because an hour of that is a paid lunch. So really you're working an 8-hour day, but it's a 9-hour shift. So we can definitely tell our system, here is one shift and here's the length of it, but 1 hour of that is going to be for a paid lunch. So don't calculate it in their hours for overtime.
Okay.
Yeah. So I show here that you do have a couple of different shifts that the employees do work. Is that correct?
No, it's just, for the most part, everybody's 9 to 5. You have a few that's 8 to 4, but 9 to 5. And then because we have access to the building 24 hours. Some of us do kind of, work these non-traditional hours, but for the most part, when recording time, like I said, it's the normal 9 to 5 or 8 to 4.
Okay. Not a problem. Then yeah, that'll just be a simple rule that we tell the system, right? Because 40 hours is a work week, even though they may be logging, 48 or 45 hours because of those lunches. But
Mhm.
the system will be able to recognize that 1 hour out of each and every day is a lunch. So don't contribute that to their overall working hours. Not a problem.
Okay.
So that's just all something that we build into the system, right? But the biggest component here is just making sure that employees log their time accurately and in a timely manner. And whether that's through a computer, a tablet, or even their mobile device. So they do have a cell phone that shares the same logins as their web portal. They've got the ability to clock in and out. They've got their time card, and they can record their hours. They can send notes. And then if you guys needed our system to track PTO, sick leave, overtime, comp time, anything like that, it's something that our system does very, very well. So that way, if they accrue paid time off and you want them to have a means to check that and easily submit time off requests, that can all be tracked in the system very easily.
Okay.
Okay. So
And then as far as like now with the COVID and all the new laws surrounding that and payroll, how will those, as far as those codes, because we already have pay codes set up to reflect individuals that needed to use that time. Like, how is that, will that work with you all? Do we need to make sure that the pay codes, do we need to take on whatever pay codes you all use?
nope.
Like, not really.
Nope, we use your existing pay code. So what will happen is Lynn and her team will get all that set up in the payroll platform. And
Okay.
when we set up the timekeeping side, we just do the data mapping to ensure that the codes align so that when we import the information into payroll, there's no additional work that needs to be done or any additional calculation.
Okay.
Okay. With the COVID, a lot of our clients have had to set up a specific bucket to track COVID hours because they were allotted additional paid time off just for the COVID that, wasn't their standard PTO.
Right.
So if that's something that you need done, yes, we can create multiple buckets. So this is just an example. You can have multiple buckets of paid time off, and each bucket can handle the hours in a different way. So whether they accrue it based on hours worked, if we just give them a lump sum, and then that way we can record everything individually and report on it in the event that we need to.
Right. Okay. Good. Because of course, we do need to record that information because we've had to provide it. Okay.
So you mentioned a journal. Is that the PBJ journals by chance? PBJ reports?
I am not sure what that is.
No?
No, I'm talking about just a normal journal entry.
Okay.
Recording. Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, how the employee hours are spread over the departments.
Okay. Yeah, so that was another question I had is on their time cards, so are you just do you have like a formula for spreading those hours out, and is it just so that it's even so that each department can get billed accordingly, or are you actually trying to find out how many hours were worked in each department?
No, I am given this information of how to allocate the time from the COO. So he gives me, he sends me a memo asking me to break down this salaried employee's time over the various departments and how much time is allocated to each one. So then I put this information into an Access database. And then so the first payroll of every month, when I complete the payroll, then this is how I use the information from there to build on the report that I need to create this FTE report.
Okay.
Because based off of the payroll, the hours, the timesheets that were submitted to you, now that's the breakdown of how the hours were allocated over the multiple departments is through that payroll. But like I said, we use it in conjunction. So you have the payroll, and what happens is with the payroll, those employees that are spread over multiple departments, the main department is what you see on the timesheet. And that's where the Access database comes in, because now the Access database is where the information of the breakdown is actually held. So we use this Access database, and then, like I said, once I finish processing payroll, I integrate this information from Access and that's how I bring it all together to process the payroll, and then to make sure that the allotted time that was spread between the multiple departments is accounted for. But like I said, I have to process payroll, then pull that information.
Seems like a lot of work.
It is, because there's another spreadsheet that I have to use in conjunction with that. So there's actually three, so there's all these moving parts.
Yeah.
And to just get everybody paid, and it's just a lot of work.
It sounds like a lot of work. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, so I can only imagine what you experience. And are you doing this every week or every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. So it probably takes you a full day, if not longer.
It does.
Wow.
And I think that it should only take me the day, but because we run into these issues, and so I'm constantly emailing individuals, asking them to make the corrections. And like you said, I like how everything's done in real time, because not only that, after I complete payroll, I have to do what's called a sync, because now I got to get the information from Green Shades down to Dynamics and vice versa. Anything that was done in Dynamics needs to get pushed to Green Shades. And yes, it is a lot of work. And with me working from home now, I have to wait for that sync to manually happen. And it's only happening once a day. And that's typically in the evening. So then I can't pick back up and start my work until the next day.
Oh, yikes. I definitely want to help you out, because I don't even think it should take a full day. Yeah, I think it should take like an hour or two, right? And to be honest, most clients in your similar situation, we're able to save them so much more time. But it's a coordinated effort, right? It's not just you; it's the employees, and because they're not clocking in and out, right? We're waiting for them to record time. That's kind of, I don't want to say a road bump, but maybe a little bit of a hiccup, because, they could just remember late at night, go in there and change something, but it's already been submitted. So that really affects you, because it's almost like you have to start over.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So,
and I really try to, make sure that there's no errors, because like I said, trying to, to fix it, it's just more work. So I try to do it right the first time, but it didn't always happen that way.
Right. Well, and I'm surprised too. I hear quite often that payroll and HR managers, they're waiting for employees to submit time, and that blows me away, because if I'm working, I want to record my time and get it over into payroll as soon as possible, because I want to get paid. I don't want there to be any delay, So I'm on top of that as soon as possible. But
I just think the fact that it's been in-house for a while, and when there are issues, they just come right to my office. And if it's something that I can fix right then and there, I do fix it right then and there. But
Right.
I don't want to be doing that. Let's do it
Right.
right the first time.
Yeah. Well, let's
Oh.
let the employees fix it, and then you do have this approve button on the time card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now that approve button is not mandatory. It doesn't prevent anything from happening if I forget to approve it, but it's basically saying I have reviewed my time card, it's accurate, and I'm going to let management know that we're on the same page. When I push this approve button, it'll turn the little check mark green, right? Management can then see that the employee has reviewed this time card, they've addressed any mistakes, right? Overtime's ready to go, departments are good to go, and everything down at the bottom is all calculated out. There's no mistakes, right? You could have this time card go, well, it doesn't need to go anywhere, right? Because it's sitting in your portal here.
Okay.
So this is your access portal. And again, you can access it from anywhere. It's just a website. And there's different layers of access. So in the maintenance menu, you can set up who has access into this manager's portal and what they can see and what they can do.
Okay.
Okay. So you've got your administrator, and they can see all of the employees. They can edit all time cards, run reports. They can do everything within the system. Okay, but let's say you wanted to set up maybe a supervisor, and you wanted to give them a specific department or a group of employees. So when they log in, they can only see that specific department, and their only goal is to help you. Go in there and review the employees' time cards. Help me out. Address any mistakes, review any overtime, make the necessary changes if allowed to, and then put your stamp of approval on it, and then send it over to me. So by the time it hits your desk, it's done. You're just doing a quick review. And if anything stands out, then you can address it at that time. Other than it's ready to go because you've let their direct supervisor do all the legwork for you. So I have a lot of clients that end up doing that.
Okay.
Right? Because what happens is you've got your time card views here. So we can come and look at daily entries. And it's just going to show us every employee. If I'm in the admin, I can see every employee and their time that they're logging or if they're punching a clock. Right? I can hover over the information and it will tell me who logged the time, when they logged the time, if they used a clock, what time they punched in. So everything is fully transparent. Okay. I've got the ability to add information, so I can add an additional line item. So here, if I needed to allocate a couple of hours to a department, I could come in here and add those hours and then select the department. I can quickly add information to the time card, right? I could add reimbursements, mileage. I can add all that information in as a manager.
Okay.
Right. I can also overwrite what employees have done. So if they selected the wrong department, if they entered in wrong time, I can edit their entry and I can change every line item across the board. Okay. So again, the moment that an employee logs information, it's sitting in your portal. So there's no waiting.
Good.
Okay. And this is just going to show each employee's individual time card. So I could click on the employee themselves and go straight to their time card for the pay period. Let me go back one. And so there's a 2-week pay period right there. Now, if they punch a clock and they forget to clock out, it'll record it as a missing punch because the system is not going to roll time over from one day to another. It's just going to recognize, oh, you know what, as of 12:01, there's no recognized punch. It's a missing punch.
Okay.
Right? It won't show that information unless they enter in time. So if they enter in a start time but not a stop time, it'll show as a missing punch. So it'll, be a reminder for them to go in there and, hey, you need to complete the hours that you've worked for this day. Okay.
I see the time off request over there.
Yep.
So that's also can be done through here?
Absolutely. So employees in their portal, they can submit time off requests, and they can select where they want to pull those hours from. So if I go back to the employee portal here, I can go to my time off section. So I have complete visibility into how much PTO I have available and how many hours in each one of my buckets. If I want to submit a time off request, it's very easy to come in here and just select the day that I want off, right? Maybe I want Black Friday off. And then I select, where do I want to pull those hours from?
Got it.
Right? And then how many hours in that day I want, and then I can leave a note. And then we do notifications across the board. So as soon as I hit submit, my supervisors are going to receive emails and a push notification if they're using the mobile app on their cell phone that this employee just submitted a time off request.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's a calendar in here that employees have, so they can see what days they have off, or the entire company, or just their own department. Okay. And then there's a complete history of what they've taken off. So we keep record of their history.
Gotcha.
Okay. They can also run a report to see if they accrue hours, how much time they'll have off through a specific day and time if they don't take any time off. Right.
Well, that's nice because people ask questions like that all the time.
Yep, absolutely. So any information that we can give back to the employee, the better, right? Stop them from coming into your office. I'm sure you love to see them, but you're busy, you got work to do. Right?
Yeah.
So once they submit those time off requests, they'll populate in here for management to review. I also have a calendar, so I can see what days off employees have requested. I'll be notified if multiple employees want the same day off. And then in here, it just shows who made the request, when, the day they want off, how many hours they want. But I can change everything. So if they don't have enough hours in their vacation bucket, but they do in their personal, I can change this for them. Right? Or if I don't want them to work, if I don't want them to take the full day Friday off, I just want them to work a half a day, I can change their original request and then send it back to the employee to either accept or deny.
Okay.
So it's very interactive that way. Okay. Now each employee has a profile. Now this is where we set up a lot of different things. So this is where we set up how they interact with the system. Are they punching a clock, or do we want to give them the option to punch a clock or manually edit or log their own time? This is where we also can put their default department so that it's displayed on their time card. So if they're in the sales department, if they're a customer service, whatever, we can say, okay, here's their default department. But then we can put, here are the other departments that they fall in. And then when they change departments, it'll show on their time card. Okay. Now the reporting in here is amazing. So we give you 19 different reports to choose from, and they're all very easy to utilize. They're all very easy to run. It's just, what information are you trying to find? So you can run reports on accruals if you want to see paid time off totals. If you want to run a report on time off requests to find out who's been, taking the most time off over the last year or the last month. If I need to run just a simple labor report, I can come in here and break this down, and if the employees are entering in those different departments, we can run a report to show you, okay, here's all the different departments that they spent time in. And whether it's a 2-week period, a month, 6 months, this will break everything down as long as the employees or yourself are recording that in the system. So this can help with that allocation of hours across the board, right? No more multiple spreadsheets. Just look at their time card, go look at the pay or the period of time that you want to find out, and then come in here and run this report. And you'll be able to see the 1st through the 15th, in this particular department, they worked this many hours. Okay. We can run just a simple summary report. And this is just going to tell us for a specific pay period, here's the total amount of hours that were worked, that were logged. And it will break down the regular hours that they logged, if they went into overtime, if we're paying for holidays, or if they took any PTO. All of that is going to be broken down per employee.
How far back is this information held?
From the day that you sign up, we permanently retain all your records.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yes, we do not delete anything ever. So
Nice
even
to
if
know.
yeah, so even if you have an employee that works with you for a few years and then they leave the organization, we just tell the system that they're no longer active, so they stop showing up on the active reports and in the list of active employees. But if you ever needed to go back and run reports and pull their hours, it's still in here, so it won't go anywhere.
Okay.
Okay.
But that shouldn't be an issue because we use employee ID numbers.
Okay.
But we never reactivate employees. So like if we were to rehire somebody, we would give them a new employee ID. We wouldn't reactivate that old employee ID.
That's up to you. In this system, you can reactivate them.
But you don't have to.
You don't have to, no.
Okay.
Now, in our system, if I go to the employee profiles, they do have an employee code right here. Traditionally, that's assigned by the payroll system.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess the question would be, if it's a rehire and we reactivate them in payroll, is payroll reassigning them a new employee code? If so, we could change this code, or we could just have 2 Harry Hendersons, right? One is deactivated and here's the active one because maybe he changed departments or different information. So up to you how you want to do that.
Okay.
Angela, in our payroll system, we typically don't add the same employee in there more than once. Their file would just be reactivated.
Okay.
Okay, so the system it's extremely user-friendly. We have been doing timekeeping for over 20 years, and 1 million people use this system every day. So it's tried, it's tested, it's a workhorse, and it's extremely customizable. So as your needs change, we can change with you as well.
Sounds good.
Okay. It's just a matter of finding the best way for the employees to use it and the best way for you and your staff and your management team to use it as well.
Okay.
Okay. But we do help you get it all set up, so you don't have to worry about that. We build it out with you. You know, you'll spend an hour or two with a implementation rep, and he'll build everything out for you, and then he'll train you in the system, very similar today, except it'll be your own environment. You'll see all your own employees here. We go through and label their departments. We put in all the overtime rules. Do you guys pay holidays or any?
Yes.
You do pay holidays? Okay.
Yes.
So we just put in all that information, and then we also learn about your PTO. So for your salaried employees, I imagine at the beginning of the year or maybe their anniversary date, they just get so many hours handed to them, and then they use it throughout the year, and then maybe some carries over, or they have to use it, or they lose it. How does your PTO work?
Um, I don't think they just automatically give you a set time. I don't, LaShawn, is that like, do they automatically give us like 2 weeks ago, or it's all you have to accrue all of that?
I think it's accrued each pay period. You get so many hours.
It's accrued. Okay.
Yeah, like I know some places they automatically give you like the 2 weeks or whatever, but no, we don't do that. Ours is accrued. HR kind of tracks that though. And then based off of the reports that I generate when I process payroll, there's a vacation report that I give to the HR department, and they track and keep up with those.
Okay. Well, if you wanted our system to help with that, because we can have multiple policies. So, for example, let me go back to the employee portal here. We can have like your PTO or your vacation accrue, right? And there could be very specific rules. You have to be full-time, you have to work 70 hours, and every 2 weeks we're going to give you 1 hour of PTO. This will automatically read those rules and either give the hour and update the total automatically, or nope, you didn't meet the criteria, so you don't get the hour this pay period. Right? At the exact same time, maybe your sick time is a little different. They don't have to earn sick time. You know, state law says you have to give them 32 hours right out the gate if they're full-time. So we could just stick 32 hours in this bucket and it'll sit there. It won't change. But if they go to use a sick day and they take that sick day off, it'll remove those hours from that 32.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes.
Because right now our that information is recorded on the pay stub each pay period, and most people don't, catch it, or if they do, it's. I think this would be nice. The fact that they can see it and.
Yeah, the pay stubs, especially if you guys do direct deposit. I'm guilty of this. I don't really look at my pay stub unless I question something.
Right.
So I actually use my portal. I mean, we use our own system here. So, I have a mobile app. I go in there, I submit time off requests all the time. And it's very handy because I can see how much totals I have. I can look to see if any other of my colleagues have the same days off. I can run that balance report. So it's extremely helpful just to have that visibility.
Yes.
And we just streamline the whole process because I'm sure HR, do you know if they're doing it manually or do they have a system that is helping with the calculation?
Pretty much a lot of what we do is done manually.
Yeah.
I don't think that they have a system that they, like, we got a calendar on the intranet that shows how many hours you accrue based off of, how long you've been there and your pay group and things like that. So yeah, I don't think they're doing anything. I think it's all manual.
Okay. Then they would definitely benefit from this because we just learn all the different rules, all the criteria, and we just tell the system how to do it and hit go, and that's it.
Okay.
Right? But you will have the ability to go in there and change totals. You just can't change the way that it tracks, but we can change it. You would just have to have us do it.
Got it. Okay.
Right? So nothing is set in stone in this system. It's forever changing.
So like right now, I have a situation where someone used PTO that they didn't want to use.
Okay.
So now they want to pay back the PTO.
Okay.
So if we were using your system and they paid back that PTO, I would need to reach out to you to let you know that they paid this PTO back for you to replenish those hours.
Nope, you would be able to yourself. So you can change
we can.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
Yep. So I could come to my settings, is it? Let's see here. I always forget where that one's at. Nope, it's in the maintenance menu. Oop. So accrual balance is right here.
Okay.
So this is a menu I can come in and I can say, okay, I need to do a manual adjustment.
Got it. Okay.
Right? And then I just select when it's going to take into effect, and is it all employees or if it's a specific employee. It'll show me what their current balance is at. This is at 80. Nope, I need to change this to 75.
Got it.
Or I need to give those hours back, so now it's 88.
Gotcha.
Simple as that.
Okay.
Okay. So as an admin in here, there's a lot that you can do, but if you don't feel comfortable or you have questions, yes, we do have ongoing support, and we've got a very awesome support team. You can call us, you can send us an email, whatever you need, they'll get you taken care of real quick.
Gotcha.
Okay?
I'm getting excited.
Yes. You will. I think there will be a little bit of a burn-in period, you know, because learning something new, but overall, it is going to save you a lot of time. And I think
I believe that. I know. I mean, yeah.
And
the whole time I've been doing payroll, I'm saying like, it's gotta be an easier way.
There is a much easier way, and I'm glad that you found Lynn, because Lynn and Tryon, they are amazing. They are one of our premium partners. I love working with Lynn.
Well, I'll be honest. I have never heard of you all until now. My boss was familiar with you all.
Oh, really?
And yeah, like this is all her. And so, and what was so funny is I was telling the rest of the team that after we had the meeting and, you know, she says, oh, we're going to partner with Tryon Solutions. I saw a commercial on TV of you all. And I'm like,
wow.
oh, that's them. But
nice.
yeah, I was not aware, but now I am, and I've learned a lot. So,
well, you are not alone.
I'm excited.
You are not alone.
I'm sorry.
I said you are not alone, and the reason being is up until about 3 years ago, we worked behind the scenes. So we primarily partnered with payroll providers, PEOs, bookkeepers, and they would sell our services as their own.
Gotcha.
So Swipeclock was kind of the wholesale provider. And then a few years ago, we were like, you know what? We've got clients that need our services that don't have a payroll provider, right? They do payroll in-house. Well, let's start reaching out to them. And so now we sell directly to the public, as well as, you know, still partnering with you know, partners like Tryon. So
right.
Yeah.
Good.
But
nice.
20 plus years just coming to the surface, people are like, who are you? And I'm like, okay, well, here we are. Here's what we do.
Right.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, look, again, I'm excited. So
Good.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm excited for you because you're going to have to find a new hobby. You're going to have a little bit more time on your hands.
Well, I think boss lady and the rest of the team already have stuff in the makings for me. So that's fine.
Hey, being productive anywhere else is good, right? It's good for you.
Yes.
It's good for the company because, yeah, spending time on payroll, it's a positive thing, but when you're spending too much time on payroll, it becomes a negative thing, right?
They call me the angry payroll lady.
I'm pretty sure that's everybody. You're not the only one. I think that's every payroll lady's name, right?
I wanted to say it, but I was like, I'm not going to call her out. But yeah, I gave her that name, the angry payroll lady.
Hey, most payroll people are angry because look what they have to deal with. It's terrible.
Man, right. People have no mercy on you when you're dealing with their money and food. Like people will rip your head off.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. In a few short months, you'll be the less angry payroll lady, right?
Yes. I warned her because everything was manual. I was like, oh, I don't know if you want to get into this.
Yeah.
But
and of course I was hard-headed, but hey.
Have an open mind, right?
Say that again.
Gotta have an open mind, right?
Yes. Look, like it's brought us this far. So hey.
Yeah. Well, when you've got your processes in place, you know, you know how to be efficient at your own time-consuming processes, but you know how to do it, you know?
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I definitely is an obstacle because I kind of fell into the role kind of thing. And we don't have a lot of processes in place. And if they are, the information left with my predecessor, so stuff like that. So I like structure. So
Mhm.
like how you have all of this, all this information at my fingertip, I need that. So,
Absolutely.
and then the fact that you have the support team to help, I think that this is going to be really, really nice.
Yes.
Like I said, I just think like right now, everybody likes having payroll in-house because if the issue does happen, they can get to me immediately, but I just don't think it's the most efficient. That's all.
Yeah. Well, it's, I'm human. After so many hours, twos look like fives and threes look like eights. And, I have to walk away from my computer because I start to make mistakes. So I'm sure it
Yes.
happens to you. It happens to everybody. So if we can get
Yes.
something in place to help, absolutely.
Yes.
And
And then like people think that I'm like, because now I've gotten to the point where I am trying to get people to, hey, this is the process. Just follow the process, and we can avoid a lot of the issues.
yeah.
And so now, like I said, I think I'm kind of getting on people's nerves, and I don't mind, but it's like this isn't as hard as we're making it.
Yeah.
And because of the back and forth and the constant, like I said, the fact that it's so manual, I tell people all the time, the likelihood of making error increases. And
Yeah.
every time I have to keep going back in and correcting things, like it's just a mess.
Yeah.
And it's all over the place. And I don't work well like that. And I just know that there's a better way.
Yes.
And I'm hoping that this is it.
This will be it, right? The good old help me
Right.
help you, right?
Okay.
That's what we will do. So, and rest assured, getting set up is extremely simple, and the transition will be simple. So it's not just, hey, signed up, off you go, good luck, right? We help you get everything set up, and then once you start using the system, you go into our customer excellence program, and that is 6 weeks of just checking in with you, addressing questions. If we need to change anything in the system, we're right there every step of the way, right? Because we want it to be smooth, we want it to be seamless, and we want you to have a positive experience,
A
right?
good experience. Yes.
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 So we are there every step of the way.
Agreed.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, I've taken some good notes here. I'll get some information over to Lynn. Roughly how many employees, both salary and hourly, did you have that will be using the system?
Like I said, it's almost split down the middle. So I want to say around 150 salaried and then 150 hourly, because we have a roughly more or less 300 employees.
Okay. Do you fluctuate at all?
Yes.
Yeah, like
Yes.
up or down?
It seems both.
Both.
Like we had 5 people resign and we just hired 5 people.
Oh wow.
All in the same week, So, and it's like that almost every pay period. You got people, you're bringing new people in, but then you got people leaving, and it's almost every pay period.
Wow. Okay.
So, like I said, it stays around the high 280s, 290s. It may go over 300, but then it falls right back under. So, like I said, so I would honestly say probably half would be salaried employees and the other half are hourly.
All right, hourly. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And
only one is a part-time regular employee. Like everybody else is considered full-time.
Okay. Not a problem. We can accommodate all types, exempt, salary, part-time, full-time. Doesn't matter.
Right. You guys do unions and everything.
Yes. We can. There is so much that the system can do. I could bore you all day long with it, but I don't think that would be very fun. So.
No. Like I said, what you provided today is enough, but thank you.
Yes. Okay. And then how soon were you guys wanting to get started?
probably real soon, but
Okay.
LaShawn and I are going to go back and speak to Elizabeth, which is our boss. She's the CFO. She's the one that initiated the meeting, everything. So I am going to let her know my feelings about it. And I know we need it because right now we use green shades and I don't know how that works or if that can. So we're going to go back and speak with her.
Okay.
And then in turn, myself or her may be the one to reach back out to you, giving you to go ahead and trying to get the ball rolling on this next.
Okay. Just let Lynn know, and I'll be
Okay.
here to support both you and Lynn. And just so you're aware, our average time to get you set up and trained and utilizing the system is about 7 to 10 business days. Okay. But this time of year, we are extremely busy. Clients like yourself looking for a new solution, and everybody wants to start January 1st.
Of course.
Okay. So
All right.
keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, right, with the holidays and everything. Worst case, is that 7 to 10 days just goes 14 to 17. But if you guys, we could still get you started by January 1st, no problem, if we got all the paperwork, everything agreed upon by Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I got some work to do.
I'm sorry to give more to you.
No, right now it's just considered good work.
Right. It'll pay
all
out.
I know is come January, I will be doing half of this anymore.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I'm I'm excited.
Good.
But thank
good.
you.
Happy to give you more time back with yourself and your family. So.
Yeah.
And LaShawn, what I'll do is as soon as I receive the information from Nate, I'll follow up with an email regarding what the monthly pricing would be for the system. So then you can, include that in your discussion with Elizabeth.
Okay.
Nice. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll get you guys that information today, and then let me know if you have any additional questions. I'll be happy to help.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks, Lynn.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Nate.
See you guys
Thank
later.
you.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.